Hey boys, it's HarmNone. Today we're going to be going over the top 10 wide-body cars in Grand Theft Auto Online. Now I have made this video in the past, however we have got quite a few new wide-body cars into the game since the last time I made one of these videos, and also there were some cars that I overlooked in the last one, and overall I'm just not super happy with that list. So anyways, I put together this list for you guys today. I think you guys are going to like it. Let's go ahead and hop into it, starting off with number 10. At number 10, we have the Pfister Comet Retro Custom, which is going to cost you $100,000 for the regular Comet, which you're going to need in order to make the custom, plus an additional $645,000 for the Benny's upgrade. Now, unfortunately, you cannot purchase the Pfister Comet at this time. However, apparently from what I've heard, it can come into the auto shop as a customer vehicle, which will give you the ability to purchase it. So stay tuned, see if you guys can get a Comet into your auto shop so you can make it into a retro custom. The retro custom upgrade improves the handling a ton from the regular Pfister Comet, as well as the performance in general. It has better acceleration, a higher top speed. Overall, I think it looks a little bit better too. And of course you get many customization options, and the reason it's on this list is of course you get a wide body kit, which is pretty cool. I think the Comet Retro Custom is definitely a very good car to own in GTA, and it's relatively cheap as well, so I would definitely say go ahead and pick this thing up if you guys have some spare money lying around and you guys can source yourself a Comet somehow. That's it for number 10. Let's move on to number 9. At number 9 we have the Obey Omni, coming in at $701,000. The Obey Omni is based off of the Audi Sport Quattro that won a bunch of rally championships back in the day, and they also had a consumer version that you were able to purchase as well, which was pretty interesting. But the Obey Omni is a fantastic looking car in GTA Online. Even if you take it from being, you know, sort of a race car, which it's kind of stuck as because it has a roll cage as well as a little window hole that you can open up and a few other modifications, you can actually make this thing look pretty clean. Like you can see, I've got mine here in all white and I think it actually looks really good. So there are some ways to make this thing pretty clean. It is of course all-wheel drive, meaning that it has pretty good acceleration, and the exhaust also sounds pretty awesome as well. I think it's a decent looking vehicle. The performance is there a little bit to back it up, at least. For its price of $701,000, I don't think that this is a car that you can go wrong with. Definitely look into picking this one up. At number 8, we have the Lampadati Viserys, coming in at $875,000. A lot of people don't even know that this car even exists in the first place, but it does. And not only that, it also has a wide body option that you can put on it. Its fenders are already flared pretty good to begin with, but you can also flare them even further and make this car look crazy. And a fun fact about this thing is you can actually put front mounted machine guns on it, which deal a fair amount of damage. They're not the best, but they're not the worst either. It's got some nice customization, some stuff that is actually kind of surprising for what it is, and the performance is pretty decent. Now I do believe that this car does have engine resistance, so it is going to be a little slower than it otherwise could be, but for the most part when I'm driving this thing around I don't even notice the engine resistance, so I would definitely recommend picking this thing up. It's under $900,000, which is, you know, pretty fair for what you're getting, I think. And I think it's a pretty good looking car. At the very least, even if it's not good looking, it's very unique. So that's it for the Viserys at number 8. On to number 7. At number 7, of course, we have the Bravado Banshee 900R. This is going to cost you $105,000 for the Banshee itself, and then an additional $565,000 to upgrade it into the Benny's version, which is of course the 900R. This is like one of the most OG wide body cars in all of Grand Theft Auto Online. There's not many that you can do, you know, wide body kits to and everything like that. And the 900R definitely took a step in the right direction when it was released, that's for sure. The customization on this thing, as you might expect, is absolutely phenomenal because it is of course a Benny's vehicle. The performance as well at the time when it was released was very good, but even today it still kind of holds up. The only thing that I don't really love about the 900R is the handling, but the handling is still not even that bad. It's very fast in a straight line as well, and it also has a very good top speed. So the 900R is kind of a very good deal, and you can also have it with a roof or without a roof as well. So if you want to have a permanently convertible version of this, then you can do that as well. So that's pretty cool. That's it for number 7. On to number 6. At number 6, we have the Ubermacht Sentinel Classic Wide Body. This comes in at $630,000 for the car itself, and then you have to take it to Benny's for an additional $700,000. You can make it into the Sentinel Classic Wide Body. It is 100% worth doing this. The car becomes so much cooler. There's so many more customization options. I remember when I was scrolling through the spoiler options for this car, I was like blown away because I think there's like 30 of them or something. It's absolutely insane. The livery options are also phenomenal, you know, with the bumper options as well and everything. With everything that they give you at Benny's, you can make the car so unique and, you know, exactly what you really want to do with it, which I think is very cool. The car also has some decent performance. I would say that the one thing that I don't love about this vehicle is the handling. It's kind of unpredictable sometimes, but it is quite good at drifting at the same time. So it's, you know, it's got its trade-offs. Overall, it's pretty quick in a straight line. The acceleration is pretty decent. The top speed is okay. It's nothing, you know, too crazy. But overall, it is definitely a good car. It is the most expensive one on the list so far, so you got to keep that in mind. You might want to get some of the cheaper ones first if you're on a budget. But if you guys have the money for it, the Ubermax Sentinel Classic Widebody is definitely one that I would recommend. Here at number 5, we have the Karen Sultan RS. I know you guys probably saw this one coming. It goes for $12,000 if you want to buy the Karen Sultan itself, plus an additional $795,000 for the upgrade to the Sultan RS, which honestly by today's standards that's not very much money, so that is good. With this, of course, it becomes one of the most customizable cars in the game. There are tons and tons of customization options where you can go ahead and make this thing look like a full-blown race car, or you can make it look, you know, a little bit more clean. You can also do a bit of in between. There's lots and lots of things that you can do with this vehicle. It also is all-wheel drive, so it has a very good launch as well as decent acceleration. The top speed is also relatively high for what it is, and the handling is actually very, very good. It has a lot of grip, this car. Definitely a good one to pick up. Definitely a staple of Grand Theft Auto Online and the car culture within GTA Online, that's for sure. For number 4, I have picked the DUGG Spectre Custom, which is going to go for $599,000 off the Benny's website, plus an additional $250,000 for the upgrade into the Spectre Custom. The Spectre Custom is basically just a much more customizable version of the Spectre. I just customized the Spectre recently, and there's so much more you can do to it when you actually have the custom upgrade on it, and it is 100% worth putting that custom upgrade on it because the regular Spectre, there's really not that much you can do. I do think that the regular Spectre is kind of a better looking car, but if you do want the wide body, you can of course just make it into the custom. And it does kind of gain a little bit of performance out of it, I would say. I would say that the handling gets a little bit better. The acceleration is about the same and the top speed is about the same, but the handling definitely improves a little bit. It might even go a little bit too improved to the point where it actually understeers instead of oversteers a little bit, but for the most part it is tolerable, that's for sure. The customization options that you have access to with this upgrade are absolutely awesome, and especially for only $250K for the Benny's upgrade, I don't think that that's necessarily a bad price considering it becomes a Benny's vehicle. So that's it for the DUGG Spectre Custom at number 4. Let's talk about number 3. At number 3, I'm sure you guys also saw this one coming. This is the Annis Elegy Retro Custom. It's going to cost you $904,000 all totaled. You're going to have to pick up a free Elegy RH8 and then go and take that to Benny's. Pay $904,000 and it will turn into the Elegy Retro Custom. This is my Elegy Retro Custom from a customization battle that I did with NPC and Twingo a few months ago, and I'm really happy with how this one actually turned out. The car is all-wheel drive, of course. It's very, very quick off of the line, and the handling is also pretty good. Now, the top speed is, you know, it's in the 120s, but it's nothing, you know, too special. But the reason you're buying this car is, of course, because you can put a wide-body kit on it that looks very similar to the GTR LM race cars from back in the day. And I think that it looks really, really good. You can integrate it very nicely with the car. A lot of good options with this thing. Of course, it is a Benny's vehicle once you put this upgrade on it, so you can probably assume that it's going to have a lot of customization that can be done to it. You guys have probably heard people talk about the LG Retro Custom over and over again over the years, so I'm going to just stop now. Let's go ahead and talk about number 2. At number 2, we have the Emperor Vector, coming in at $1,338,750, all the way up to $1,785,000 if you don't have the trade price. The Emperor Vector is the #1 best Tuners DLC vehicle for the Tuners subclass racing in GTA Online. It is in the sports category, and as a sports car it's not that phenomenal, but in the Tuners subcategory the Vector absolutely dominates. It is such a good car for racing. The level of grip that this thing has in the corners as well as the handling of it are just it's phenomenal. You can go around pretty much any corner as fast as you want on the tuners races, and you're going to be pretty much 100% fine in the Emperor Vector. You can also lower it way down, which I think is a cool feature, and of course it does have a wide body kit, which is the reason it's on this list. Overall, great performance, a great looking car, and of course you can put the wide body kit on it, so what's not to like? That's it for the Emperor Vector, but before we talk about number one, we got to go over a few honorable mentions. The first honorable mention that I have selected is the Progen Italy GTB Custom for $1,189,000. It is a pretty good car. It was added several years ago. You buy it on Benny's as well. It's kind of similar to the Nero, where you can upgrade it into the custom variant, which makes it just into a race car instead of a street car. Overall, it's got some decent performance. It is all-wheel drive. The acceleration is very good. Top speed is a little lackluster, but it is still quite nice. Overall, a very decent car. And the Benny's upgrade is going to run you an additional $495,000 for those of you that are wondering. And the other honorable mention that I have, of course, is the Bravado Gauntlet Hellfire, coming in at $745,000. Everybody knows the Gauntlet Hellfire in GTA. It is a wide body stock. You don't have to put a kit on this thing or anything, but it just is a wide body. Obviously a very fun car to drive around. It is very drifty, and it is kind of hard to control sometimes. Overall, a lot of fun. But let's go ahead and talk about the number one vehicle that I have selected. At number one, you may have seen this coming. This is the Obey 10F Widebody, coming in at $1,675,000, plus an additional $575,000 for the widebody kit, which makes the car actually improve a lot when it comes to performance as well as the looks. I mean, I like the regular Obey 10F, don't get me wrong, but with the widebody kit, it's very, very good. It also changes the car from rear wheel drive only to all-wheel drive, although the all-wheel drive split is it's probably like 10% of the power goes to the front wheels and 90% goes to the rear, but still you can definitely notice a difference on the launch once you put the wide body on the car. On top of this, it also becomes a Benny's vehicle, as you might have assumed, making it very, very customizable. There's so much that you can do to this thing. You can even tint the headlights, which I think is pretty cool, and we don't get to see that very much on any cars in GTA. So the Obey 10F widebody it's just phenomenal. It's definitely a great car. It looks phenomenal, performs even better than it usually does, and you know, what's not to like about that? So there you have it, guys. That is it for the top 10 wide-body cars in Grand Theft Auto Online. I know some of these ones aren't available on the websites right now. I'm praying that they come back into the websites, or at least that they come into the dealerships relatively soon. It would be nice for you guys to be able to get every single car on this list, but I know there is a bit of a limit to that right now. I tried to make it interesting and switch up some of the cars, but unfortunately I couldn't keep them all as vehicles that are just in the game right now, which I know does kind of suck. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, dislike if you didn't, of course. Subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, take care. Peace.